This is a lot of news about Glenn Mazzara's departure from Walking Dead this week. But first, a guy from LuckyGunner.com wrote me and said he had this article about the gun that Rick carries, the Colt Python. I checked it out. It's really great. It's in depth. It's all about whether that would be a good gun in the zombie apocalypse.
Ooh.
There's illustrations and it's just very well done. It starts out, quote, "I was wrong. The first time I saw Rick Grimes with his old fashioned Colt Python on AMC's The Walking Dead, my first thought was, great, another show with lots of guns written by people who don't know the first thing about guns. While subsequent episodes have not changed my mind on that specific point, as the plot has unfolded, I've questioned my initial assumption that Grimes' signature revolver is an ignorant and impractical choice of a weapon. What follows is a summary of the history, factors, and circumstances that changed my mind." So it's, I'm not going to read the article, but if you want to check it out, I'll put a link to it on our show notes, and it's at luckygunner.com.
Cool.
Yeah. Next thing, this week's episode had 12.3 million viewers, which is the biggest audience for any single episode in the series history. So it's still growing, and breaking records and all that.
Really?
Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens next week.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Too bad it wasn't more engaging, but okay.
Yeah. In an interview with Glenn Mazzara at HollywoodReporter.com, he stressed that, quote, "Everything about my decision to leave the show was about moving forward in season 4. And I've heard him say that before. And then in another interview on Vulture.com, they asked, "You're saying the creative differences with AMC began when you were discussing the plan for season 4 or midway through season 3? He says, "This is all a question of season 4 and beyond. It was a creative differences about how to push ahead with the story." So moving forward and push ahead makes me wonder if this is just conjecture, but they said, okay, to save money, we want season 4 to be in the prison again.
Oh my God, no.
And he's like, no, we want to, let's get out of there. People will want something new.
Yes.
Push forward, push
Yes.
forward. No.
Yes.
Yes. No. Yes. Okay. I'm leaving. Fine. Good. Go.
That could be.
Who knows?
That could be. God, we just don't know.
We don't know. In that same interview, they said, "We've talked about how you wanted the season to feel like a war zone and how it should feel like historical fiction. That wasn't Frank Darabont's vision in the first 2 seasons. Why did you make that shift?" He says, "I thought it was important to tell a story about this band of survivors, and some of the reading I had done on soldiers in battle is that each soldier ends up being willing to sacrifice their own life for the good of the group, and also that everyone fears letting their fellow soldiers down. No one wanted to be the weak link. I felt that paradigm was the only way that this group could survive, and that would be an endearing to an audience. It's a family fighting for survival, and that's what the TV shows are a lot of the time. They're family stories." He goes on, but I thought that was kind of an interesting take.
Yeah, well, I've said it many times. This is not, I mean, it's not necessarily about zombies. It's about relationships and families.
Mm-hmm. And zombies.
Yes, and the zombies in your family.
I have a few of those. So on fasttocreate.com, there's an article where Glenn Mazzara compared being a showrunner to his old job of managing a hospital emergency room, which he did he worked in hospitals for like 13 years or something. And I think this article kind of gives hints at what some things that might have happened that facilitated his exit. So I'm going to read a couple segments. He says, "In the ER, you have a lot of operating costs and monthly patients that you can't control. So it's important to have a very sound structure in place, schedules, clear delineations of responsibility, and clear lines of communication so people can handle surprises. Managers, quote, managers who demanded Mazzara hit budgetary and patient targets no matter what only stifled his creativity and made him anxious. Quote, when I had supervisors who understood the ebb and flow and realities of what I was physically dealing with, I was actually able to come up with some creative solutions that captured costs more effectively. So it's not just about hitting the number, AMC. The key things I learned as a hospital administrator are to be organized, communicate, and to be flexible." So that to me says that they were just too focused on the numbers, and he thinks that if they had a little give here, then there could be a little take over there or something like that.
Yep.
He says, "We have 16 episodes this season. I see them as 16 patients. Episode number 1 came in the door. It was great. We'll take your blood pressure, give you some aspirin. You'll be out in an hour. One episode it needed a transplant, so I took it out of rotation, sent it upstairs for tests. We decided what sort of transplant, wrote it, and shot some new scenes, put them in, and the patient was healthy. Everyone was surprised because they thought that patient was DOA. Another episode was a car wreck. We went into editing the operating room and pulled it apart. We saw that organs still worked and what we needed to stitch together, and that episode lived. So the blood and guts are not just on the screen, they're in the writers' and editing rooms. So maybe there have been some complaints about things that had to be redone in the second half of this season, and maybe he's trying to kind of justify like that's just the way it happens sometimes.
Right. Wow. So that's just, you're just hearing talk out there about this current half of the season.
Yeah. Yeah. That there were some troubles. It's really vague.
Yeah.
But I know that some things had to be redone. That's all I know. And that the schedule went late because of that. And then this one I think you'll find interesting. There's a conference every year called NATP. Have you heard of that?
Nuh-uh.
It's National Association of Television and Program Executives.
Oh.
And Glenn Mazzara and Lost showrunner Damon Lindelof were on a panel together.
Oh.
Yeah, I would love to have been at that.
Yeah, right?
And when the subject came around to him leaving Walking Dead, he said, when people involved with the show are looking at the long-term plan, they want something different. And actually, I'm not going to read that. That's just as usual, trying to make, be nice and not disparage anyone.
Right.
But Lindelof says, I don't know what the climate's like at that show or at AMC. There's a different culture at every network, but I do think that there's a bit of misconception in that if a show is doing very, very well, then there's a laissez-faire attitude about, well, they must be doing something right, so we're going to leave them alone. Because he said when he was first putting Lost together, before it ever aired, the higher ups kind of left him alone because it was so weird, they didn't know what to make of the show. But he said after the show's successful debut on AMC, the pilot just went through the roof. Right. He says, quote, suddenly there were 7 executives I never met before, and it was more like, oh my God, don't fuck it up, he said. We're on the creative side of it, but it's a business, and the most expensive thing you can do on a television show is produce 3 seasons of it and get canceled, Lindelof said, at which point they both reportedly nodded in agreement, Lindelof and Mazzara. And
then they both flipped off their individual networks.
Yeah. And then, should I read this? Yeah. Okay. So this is kind of funny. In an interview with Hollywood reporter Greg Nicotero said that in the second half of the season, quote, Andrea's eyes are now opening. She had no idea that Rick and the others were still alive. Now she's learning that the group is not only alive, but that one of her friends has been captured by the man she's been romantically involved with. Her head is exploding. There's going to be a real redefinition of the governor to Andrea in the second part of the season. So this must be a very slow explosion because we haven't really seen it yet.
We're waiting.
We're waiting for something.
Don't do that. Don't turn me away.
Don't try to kill my friends, honey.
Stop that.
Come on, that's annoying.
Oh, come on.
And then in that same interview, Nicotero gave this really, I'd say, light spoiler because it's very vague. If you hate vague light spoilers, skip ahead now. But he said, quote, we'll probably end our season minus a cast member or 2.
Huh.
So.
Don't say that. Don't say that, brother.
So we'll take a break. There's more to come.
Listener moans, grunts, grunts.
Yep.
Brains.
Oh, before we get into this, I wanted to show you. We got that's actually kind of appropriate because a couple of our listeners made zombie faces with that Walking Dead app.
Yeah.
And Jarrell in particular sent some awesome ones. Look at this. He's so good at it. Sorry you guys can't see this, but I'm
oh my God,
Brittany's going to post these to the Tumblr page. Look at that.
Oh, that's great.
That's my favorite. It's so disgusting.
Oh.
Creepy. These are like his girlfriend, his grandma or something.
Oh.
Isn't that good?
With a doll.
That's him.
God.
I think.
Jarrell?
I think it's pronounced Jarrell, but I'm not sure. And then this is another listener that we have.
Fantastic. Love it. Love it.
Those are cool. Yeah, if you guys want to send those in, then we'll post them in batches on the...
Did you do one for yourself?
Tumblr. You know what? I did one, and it was awesome. And I was like, wow, that is so great. And then the app crashed before I saved it. And I was like disenchanted, so I put it away for a while. And then... because I spent some time on it, and then I did another one, and it wasn't nearly as good. And I'm like, "What? I can't get the magic back." So I've got to try again. But
I loved it, and I just did those. I did the ones for me really fast, but I thought it was really fun.
Okay, let's get on with our emails.
Okay, the first one comes from Luke. Luke writes, about microbeers. What if we shipped each other microbeers to each other to get a taste of the coasts? I'm currently in Virginia on the East Coast, and we have so many great microbrews. Not to mention, I would love to taste the beers of the West. We could pick a price that way. It's just like buying beer for yourself, but from the other coast.
No. That sounds like a good idea, but it's too much work.
Oh, it really is.
And,
Come out here, Luke.
I wrote to Luke. If you're here, we'll buy you beer.
Yeah.
I said, if you really want to do that, go to some beer enthusiast group online. I bet you can find where people are willing to do that. It sounds like a good idea, but I just feel so overwhelmed.
We're harried. We're harried, Luke. We love you, Luke, but we're harried.
But it's a sweet idea.
Yeah, it really is. Thank you, Luke.
Thanks, Luke. Okay,
Sorry,
this is from
so stick on the
Tina.
bone, man.
Just finished listening to your... I mean, I can also go to this... I forget the name of it. There's this one bar here where they have like hundreds of beers from all around the world, you know? That's great. Okay, Tina, just finished listening to your podcast. Man, the finale of American Horror Story was amazing. I love season 1, but wasn't crazy the way they left it. Me neither. I was surprised season 2 was a whole new storyline. I was having trouble from time to time following the storyline, from aliens, Nazis, weird wood creatures, demon possession, etc. Yeah, good. I'm glad you like that. Maybe they're gonna do a whole new different story next season. So I think we should.
I think we need to do an episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if it's good.
Yep. I subscribed, by the way. I resubscribed to Netflix, and so I'm gonna start with season 2 and do the whole season 2.
I think if you're gonna start with season 2, you'll have to wait until next year because they usually don't put the season on until the next season is about to start, which is a bummer because I'd rather you started with season 2 because I thought it was way better.
Well, I'm gonna watch the season 2. You got me.
Cool.
This one comes from Zach. Zach says, do you think they'll get to see any new characters in season 3.5? I haven't read the comics and I don't care about spoilers, so theorize away, sir. On another note, fucking love the title of your last episode. If there exists a show that I hold the same obsession for as Walking Dead, it's definitely Breaking Bad.
The title of our last episode was Say Our Name, which was a play on the name of the episode we reviewed, which was Say My Name.
Right. Can't wait to see the intensity, then hear the analysis from y'all. Keep up the good podcasting. I will listen to every single one. P.S. Y'all should definitely start the first hybrid podcast, calling it Breaking Dead or Walking Bad. Well, maybe it sounded better in my head. Don't get bit, bitches. See what I did there? That's great, Zach. Zach, I urge you, if you are at all a Downton Abbey fan, go to... put in for YouTube, what is it? Breaking Abbey, and watch the hybrid Breaking Bad Downton Abbey. It's hilarious.
It stars the cast of both, right? Or is it? No, it's
Downton Abbey. Yeah, it's Downton Abbey cooking tea.
Yeah, it's good. So do you think we'll get to see any new characters in season 3.5? It's been so long since I read the comic around. I don't want to spoil anyway, but around this time that I don't remember. There's probably going to be a few new ones, but now that they've introduced Tyrese, and I think they'll also start focusing a little bit more on some of the Woodbury people. Like they keep showing that one big black dude with a bushy beard. It seems like they would focus on him a little bit more.
I think we'll see some new zombies in season 3.5. Saying.
Okay, this is from Evan. After watching the Super Bowl tonight, I decided to make sure my recording for The Walking Dead was still set up for the week. Thankfully it was, but I was met by another surprise. It seems as if The Walking Dead is now rated TVMA.
It is.
And when I was playing our little clips, I noticed the word shit was used and asshole. I don't know if they've always been using those, but anyways, I wonder if that's new because it's TVMA.
And I noticed at the beginning they have the warning, mature themes, blah 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 blah. Have they always have the warning at the beginning?
I think so, yeah. He says, not that I'm really surprised or anything, as there's a lot of gore, but that also means things could be getting a bit more intense content-wise. This could just mean that the show will stay the same, gory, or get more gory, and possibly have more swearing. A couple F-bombs would be nice. Oh, the comic has a lot of it. I counted somewhere in the realm of 20 uses of fuck, and this could mean we're becoming more close to the comic book, possibly. Anyway, it seems like as if the PTC, Parent Something Council, got what they wanted. No more 14-year-old kids watching heads cleaving in half, or so they hope, as if this rating will affect anything. It won't. The Walking Dead is still available on demand and Netflix. Anyways, tell me what you guys think of the new rating. I think it's appropriate. It's like, if you're going to have these ratings, that would be the one to give it. And if I was 13, I would ignore it and watch it anyways.
They certainly didn't hold back this episode.
Yeah.
There's lots of gore.
Stomping some dude's head in.
Thanks for writing, Evan. This one comes from Jennifer from Southern Indiana. I'm so glad the rest of the season is here. I was glad to see that both Daryl and Merle made it out of Woodbury alive. I was hoping to see Merle allowed into the group, but he was still such an ungrateful moron when they got out that he deserved to be sent on his way. I'm sure we haven't seen the last of Daryl, though. I bet Merle doesn't make it too long. Rick needs to be locked in a cell until he gets past his psychotic break. Agreed. It's time for one of the group to step up and take control. If they keep following Rick, it's going to be bad. I really thought there would be a little more action this episode. Hopefully next episode we will see the standoff between Rick and the governor start to fall into place. And what about Andrea? Is she going to start running Woodbury? She's definitely going to be promoted after her little pep rally.
You'd think, I mean, they were looking at Rick like, what the hell? Like Herschel was when he was talking to Ghost Lori. You'd think after that they would start at least talking among themselves about a plan B, So hopefully I want to see that, because if they don't do that, I think it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
They don't at least sort of broach the subject of maybe we should be thinking about having a new leader for a while. This is from Marcus. I don't know why last night's episode was called Suicide Kings. Maybe it's because the people in Woodbury and the prisoner are both suffering from a meltdown, and both groups seem to be turning on their leaders. I think we can relate to the meltdown in Woodbury. We who? You and your wife? No, I'm just kidding. The people reached to the sudden unexpected violence by either reacted to the sudden unexpected violence by either trying to run away or going crazy with their guns. It looked familiar.
Interesting.
What? I don't get it. Who else did that?
I think we can. I think we, as a people, because of maybe
the gun stuff. Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. Oh, gotcha. Okay. No politics. Got it. No one is melting down worse than Glenn. I liked seeing Glenn stomp the walker into mush and then start yelling at Rick. It wasn't as bad as Rick seeing the ghost of Lori, but it was bad for Glenn. Let's see how it affects his relationship with Maggie. Welcome back, guys. I hope you had a great holiday and break.
Aw, see? They say we had a break. Big holiday and break.
I didn't say we didn't have a break.
Big holiday and break.
When I started the show, I said, let's talk about what we've done since the last episode that we recorded, because it's been 3 weeks. And then you started talking. I heard
break. You hear what you want to hear. I guess. Oh, okay. This one comes from Rayanne. Oh, we love Rayanne. The Michonne Rick thing is really aggravating. Michonne obviously went to them for a reason and yet refuses to actually speak to anyone, which is totally ridiculous and the epitome of unhelpful. God, isn't that true? God. And while I understand Rick's frustration with her, I think his go-to reaction of grabbing at her wound and telling her to go to get lost is both overkill and just plain stupid, because that's how you make enemies, not allies. It's reminiscent of not being okay with humanely killing or even stranding Randall. But somehow imprisonment and torture is just fine. Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. Gosh, good point. By the way, doesn't that kid, one of the, either Alan or Ben, I can't tell who's who, one of them looks exactly, in my opinion, like Randall. I also think that that was me, by the way, not Rayanne. Rayanne continues. I also think he should have done whatever he had to do to keep Daryl in the group. Even if that meant bringing Merle back and throwing him in a cell or something for a few days until the shock of the family reunion wore off and they could all think logically again. I don't recall that possibly even being thrown out there. And even though I have faith in the Dixon Boys' survival skills, the fact remains that they are not now off the map, and finding them again will be extremely difficult to impossible. Just my 2 cents, and Andrea has issues, and I don't really get what's going on between Glenn and Maggie, except I suspect that it's something to do with a broken male ego or something.
Yeah. Glenn, he's really upset that the governor made Maggie take her shirt off and humiliated her. he seems like he's even more upset about that than he is about Merle beating him up and sending in a zombie in to kill him. Which I guess I can understand that. But I was surprised that he was so just torn up with rage about that. But I can understand it. What do you think? I mean, he didn't rape her.
He didn't, but he really screwed with her head. Yeah. And I'd be furious if I were Glenn. I totally get that. I think you have an excellent point, Rayanne, about they should have said, okay, Rick should have said, okay, you can come back, but look, Merle's going to be my thing. And he would put Merle in a cell, lock him in there, treat him humanely, whatever, but lock him up for a couple of days or put him in a different part of the prison or something.
I kind of chalk that up as one of those decisions that's, could go one way or the other, but the writers chose the one that they thought would be more dramatic. Yeah. And I don't blame them for that. Although it would be fun to see Merle trapped in a cell and hear what he would say.
Yeah, it would actually.
So we go, okay, this is like brief reactions to this week's episode. Mandy says, second worst thing they could do to Daryl besides killing him, which I guess she means sending him off.
Yeah. Mario writes, kind of slow. Hate Daryl's goodbye. Love to see Laurie back for a strange reason.
Jason says, I looked for you two, but didn't find you. LOL. Me and you.
Yeah. Yeah. We
weren't
man.
There. Yeah.
Paul writes, of course it was awesome. I think Rick is going to lose his spot as leader if he doesn't get it together pretty soon.
Jerry says, great comeback, but when is Milton going to get chomped? That guy is irritating.
And clean. Kyle writes, Rick needs some Zoloft.
Or Xanax.
Or Xanax.
Chantel says, this is very blasphemous for me to say, but I thought tonight's episode was unclimactic and left me reaching for the drawer on my nightstand, metaphorically speaking.
Wow.
What's the drawer on the nightstand?
Nightstand. I can't imagine, Chantel.
What is she talking about?
I don't know. I'm sure I don't know. I know. Nicole writes, favorite zombie kill was when the governor just walked by and shot the walker in the head, surrounded by a haze of smoke. Total boss moment. Yeah, that was pretty good.
It's like the Terminator. Although, I haven't mentioned that either, but the way everybody was going all haywire and the governor was just standing there. I did like that where he popped that zombie, but what was going on in his head? It looked like it was just a blank slate.
And he had a little smile on his face at one point. Yeah. I also like the fact when Daryl grabbed his crossbow back.
And later he said, this is war now, and these people aren't going to have it as easy as they did before.
Barbecues and picnics.
Yeah, maybe he's like happy that this happened so that he gets to have a reason to martialize and get more overtly violent than he's been wanting to. Jeremy says, I think Glenn might be getting ready to step up and take control of the group. I wouldn't go that far. Maybe though. He said, no, I'm not, no more talking for me.
Daisy said, I was a little disappointed. I don't know what I expected to happen and just felt flat. I don't know. Maybe I was just too excited after the long wait.
No, I think some people agree with you. Mm-hmm. James said, I enjoyed the episode, but it was a bit anticlimactic after the wait. The resolution to the Dixon brothers, quote, rock and a hard place situation was not very satisfying, not very believable. I'm reserving judgment on Andrea. Hopefully a method to her madness will reveal itself. No, I don't think so. You should just give up on Andrea, man. It says, I understood Daryl's decision completely. In a world like that, if you're lucky enough to find blood that's still alive, you're not going to turn your back on them.
Right. Mm-hmm. Michael says, way too slow. I think it was the worst episode of season 3 so far. I'm a diehard show and graphic novel fan too, so it hurts saying that.
Ashley says, I wanted so much to like this, and I did not. I understand for budget and story they have to have slow episodes sometimes, but for the mid-season premiere, I was expecting something better, more action, more humor, something. As my funnier than me friend said, if I just wanted to hear friends have a heart-to-heart, I'd listen to people at Starbucks and judge them from the next table. Only great part was Rick's mental break. I think he knew he was the only one who could see Laurie, and he was terrified to realize that he was losing it again or still.
Timmy says, single most boring ever equals jump the shark.
Oh, come on. One slow episode and you write the show off. All right, Timmy, you're not allowed to watch it anymore.
Yeah, fine. Bye, Timmy.
Aspen, thanks for listening. Aspen says, I realized I had gotten out of practice watching the show when I was startled by Truck Zombie and Glenn's method of handling it.
Right.
Yeah, that was good. That was startling.
I think it was funny when Rick and Maggie were there with guns pointed at the zombie, ready to pop him in the head, but then realizing, wow, I guess we really don't need to.
Yeah.
Look at him go.
Saving bullets.
Look at him go. Yeah, exactly.
Pete Ilani
says, I thought that Norman Reedus was amazing. His performance was the most complex of everyone's. Overall, I feel the episode was a bit flat. There were a lot of opportunities for drama, but maybe the writers, directors wanted to portray the prison team as numb to magnify the panic at Woodbury. But then one speech from Andrea, and it's all good in the hood. The cast keeps saying that the second half is going to be action-packed. Let's see.
Numb is a good word. They did feel numb, especially Maggie.
Yep.
Mark says, I was 50-50 on it, but Daryl leaving is going to allow Tyrese to step up to be Rick's number 2, which could set up more conflict when Daryl comes back.
Larry says, loved it. Like all great series, you have to take a season as a whole. Sopranos had episodes less exciting than others. It's kind of like a puzzle, and we just filled in a corner. I think this is the best show ever written/conceived.
Justin says, my wife says to me, this episode is kind of boring. Nothing happened. Next scene was Rick seeing Lori and what my wife guesses is her wedding dress. And she says, well, that just made the episode.
Oh, that's nice. Drea says, the governor showed his true colors. He's a brooding coward.
He was hanging back.
He was brooding. He wasn't a coward, though. He's arming up. Did you notice the sheriff's bag? I was wondering if that was Rick's bag.
I want to see if another guy gets bitten by a zombie. Will he just pop out and shoot him and pop back?
Right. Don't mind me. Okay. I'm just popping down. Okay. Bye.
What did you ask about the sheriff's bag?
That's the sheriff's bag. That's Rick's sheriff's bag.
Which Andrea had when she left the farm. That's how it got to. Yeah.
I think it's ironic that he's arming up with Rick's bag to kill Rick.
And they still haven't really met, have they? Kristen says the Lori vision was eerie as hell. An article with Mazzara said that he wanted it to be horrifying. It was supposed to mirror a wedding dress. Well played. She freaked me out.
David wrote, I thought Scott Wilson was great last night. I love the grungy dignity and lived-in gravitas he brings to Herschel. The scenes of him separately tending to Glenn and Maggie's physical and emotional scars were my favorite of the episode. Yeah,
me too. Good. And I don't know how to say this. Radamus?
It's good.
Radamus Prime says, for all that is good, Andrea needs to stop drinking the tea.
Yes. God. And we have a couple calls.
Yeah, we have a couple calls. This is Jordan from Virginia.
Hi, Walking Dead podcast. This is Jordan from Norfolk, Virginia. I've been a long-time listener, first-time caller, I guess. And I wanted to say that I spent literally all day yesterday watching Walking Dead, and it was still awesome, best day ever. And the new episode was so mind-blowing awesome. I would say at least 4.65 brains out of 5. There were some things I didn't like. I really didn't like Daryl leaving the group to go with Merle. I feel like they could deal with having Merle around. You know, they're in a jail, just lock him up, whatever. But my favorite part was when they showed Lori, ghost Lori, on the balcony. She was so, like, creepy, and she looked so, like, awesome, and, like, she just looked like the devil ghost, not like an angel for sure, even though she was in a white dress, whatever. I guess here's my zombie sound. Okay, thanks. Love you guys. Bye.
It sounds like a hairdryer.
Thanks, Jordan.
Good. Well, I'm glad somebody liked it. Let's move on to Chris from Oklahoma City.
Hey, Jason and Karen. This is Chris from Oklahoma City. I wanted to talk a little bit about tonight's episode. Wow, what a great episode. Really happy to have Walking Dead back. Really, the only thing I didn't like about this episode was Andrea. The thing that really sort of bothered me about her in this episode was when she came out to talk to the people in Woodbury, and she's, saying, oh, we will persevere, things are going to be different, but, we're going to press on, and she kept on talking as if she had been this long-time member of Woodbury, and everyone's just kind of nodding and agreeing and, yeah, right on, whatever. But it just didn't seem very natural to me because I don't get the impression that Andrea's been there for very long. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but it just seemed odd to me that they were all sort of rallying around her, especially after she had carried on at the fight between Merle and Daryl. And, she's shouting, oh, no, stop, he's my friend, right after the governor had just told everyone that, Daryl was a terrorist and Merle had betrayed them and everything. So, I mean, here she is shouting that the quote-unquote terrorist is her friend. And then, several scenes later, everybody in the town is sort of, yay, we're Andrea, you're awesome, we're going to rally up behind you. It just really seemed unnatural to me, but other than that, show was fantastic. Really glad to have it back. Anyhow, thanks for the show. I love it. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that's
true.
a good point. She hasn't been there that long.
She hasn't been there long, but she was, they were all like bloodthirsty to kill the terrorist, and she was saying it was her friend. And the next day they're all freaked out by whatever happened, and seems like maybe she was kind of involved in that because she was friends with the terrorists.
Right.
I mean, I think the reason why they listened is because she's the governor's girlfriend. That's it. Right? Otherwise,
do they know? Woodbury's a small town.
Yeah,
I guess they know.
Things get around. Word gets around in those little small towns.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to next week on The Walking Dead.
All right, next week on The Walking Dead, the episode is called Home. And the description is, as the group debates their next course of action, Rick wanders after a lost friend. So I wonder who the lost friend is. Daryl and Merle question their choices and food, according to
Sexual choices?
No, food choices. Squirrel or not squirrel. Squirrel or woodchuck. The governor restores order in Woodbury and makes plans to punish those responsible.
It's called Home, so maybe they'll finally make it to Earth.
It's written by Nicole Beatty. She wrote Sick, a great episode.
Our show.
Yep, and she's written for all kinds of great shows. Prime Suspect, Rubicon, John from Cincinnati, Sons of Anarchy. She has lots of producer credits. She's been with The Walking Dead for a while, so should be great. And it's directed by a guy whose name I want to pronounce Seth Man, but it looks like it's more Scythe Man. Seith. Maybe that's Seth. What do I know? He's directed shows like Californication and Elementary. And I think he's worked with Nicole Beatty before. Like he directed something she did.
Oh, yeah. It seems like they like to pair directors with writers sometimes.
And I don't think he's ever directed anything for The Walking Dead. But should be an interesting episode according to the previews.
So did you watch that video?
I did.
So we're going to talk a little bit about this sneak peek video that was about a minute and a half long. And if you don't want to hear about that, go ahead and move to the next section now. So I liked it. It was Daryl and Merle walking around looking kind of hungry and weak. Wouldn't you say?
And there, it's clear that Daryl wants to go back to the prison.
He's like, come on. It wouldn't be so bad.
Merle's onto him.
Yeah, Merle calling him on it.
Yeah.
And I mean, for one thing, it just shows that they're not gone.
Right.
Like they're
going to be back.
They'll be in the story, yeah. But I like that they're showing, because we haven't seen Merle and Daryl together before this last episode, so it'll be fun to see what their relationship.
Yeah.
And you get to see a little bit of how it's always been insinuated that Merle has been this kind of bullying, dominating older brother. So we'll see now that Daryl has come out on his own. Will he just go right back under the influence of Merle? It looks like he's kind of mulling that over.
Right. Right.
That'll be fun to watch.
And again, squirrel or chipmunk.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see what kind of varmints they pick up.
Right.
Okay, now we're going to talk just a little bit about Warm Bodies, this new kind of rom-com zombie movie that came out last week. And we decided, instead of doing a whole analysis, since it's fresh, that we would just talk about it like reviewers do and not spoil too much so that it's more of a we'll tell you whether we think you should see it rather than just like explicate the whole thing. So you can still listen to this even if you haven't seen
Don't
it.
worry,
But you don't mind a few little hints about what's
We
happening.
won't spoil too much.
So the end was crazy. No, I'm just kidding.
Kidding.
Yeah. So what would you like on a 5-point scale? What do you give it?
I'd give it a
movies?
solid 4.5.
Really? You liked it, huh?
really
You
liked
giggled
it.
a lot.
I loved it.
It was pretty funny.
It was funny.
Yeah.
They didn't take itself too seriously, which is
Yes.
what I liked.
It was a very light movie.
Yes.
And yeah. go
As
ahead.
opposed to like Twilight. Twilight's very heavy and
Brooding,
ponderous
yeah.
and takes itself very seriously. And Edward looks over at Bella, blah, blah, blah. And this is actually really hilarious. And it's written by, directed by a director that I like, Jonathan Levine, who directed 50-50. Did you see 50-50?
Yeah.
Really good. I mean, if you can make a
Joseph
funny...
Gordon-Levitt and cancer, yeah.
And Seth Rogen, if you can make a funny movie about cancer, you can make a funny movie about zombies. It's a zombie rom-com.
I liked 50-50 more. This movie, I liked. It was cute.
Yeah.
It was good for what it was. It was very light. It was completely predictable. I knew from frame one how it was going to end.
Yes.
And there's so many movies like that. And I'm a little jaded because I've seen so many movies. So I try to find stuff that will surprise me. And this didn't really surprise me a lot. Although it was well done. It was funny. The acting was good. The zombie guy was great. He was so good at being a semi-conscious zombie.
Nicholas Hoult. You need to see this movie he was in when he was a kid called About a Boy. And it's got Hugh Grant in it. And it's so freaking great. It's a great movie. And
Is he in it much?
He's in it all the whole time. It's about this kid, as the name would suggest, and he's wonderful. And he's grown up into be a very handsome.
He
young
looks
man.
like a goth dude. I mean,
He does.
Partly, there's also a part of me that's like, come on, this is fucking ridiculous. These aren't zombies. This is not a zombie movie. They're just cashing in on the zombie craze, and they're turning it into romance. But zombies and romance don't go together. And the thing I like about zombies is they're mindless. So when you take that away, then suddenly it's not what I like, you know?
Yeah.
So that part of me was going, "Arr," and then I'm like, it's cute. It's funny.
He didn't have that many thoughts, really. I mean, at first,
Yeah.
his thoughts weren't very complex. At first, his thoughts were like his words. I mean, he just looked over at the girl, and his thought was pretty.
That doesn't address that at all. Like, zombies are supposed to be ravenously hungry, not cute.
Well, they get that. They do get that way. This is an interesting movie, and I'm not giving anything away. They show this at the very beginning, but there's a progression to the zombies and fresh zombies.
But what we saw with Nicholas Hoult was a progression in the other direction.
True.
Not the way I like.
True, but they're the really lost causes they refer to as bonies.
Yeah, and the one moral, I'll tell you the moral of the story is that we should not discriminate against
The
zombies except for the really ugly ones. Go ahead and discriminate against those.
Love conquers all people, even
almost
even in
all.
the zombie
Apocalypse. Apocalypse. Okay.
And Rob Corddry's in it, and I love Rob
He was a
Corddry.
good zombie.
Yeah, he was.
I give him that. All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Let's end the show.
Let's do it,
End
man.
it. All right, that's our show, episode 90. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
I want to thank Chris Caldwell. He's an artist, and he made some new podcast art for us.
Ooh, I
Did you
can't-
see it?
no.
Oh, I sent it to you.
I have not looked at it.
It's awesome, I think, and I really like it. And hopefully I will figure out how to include it with this episode so you can look at your iPhone right now and you'll see it, or whatever you have. And you can find more from him at caldwellink.com. That's CALDWELLINK.com, or facebook.com/caldwellink. And I'll put that link in the show notes too. So thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
The deadline is up for the Zombie Sound Contest, where you can win. what can they win? for that?
Posters from
Posters
Danny
from
Miller.
Danny Miller, which we still have seen no sight of. So I've
You know what?
emailed Danny a few times, and he keeps saying with exclamation points, "They're coming." So I got to stop emailing about it. But I'm like, where are those posters, Danny? So we're not going to judge that until we get the prize. So
Right.
Plus, I haven't had time yet, but we'll
Stay
keep you
tuned.
guys posted. Yeah.
Right.
And I'll put them all together. We can maybe even do the judging process on the podcast this time, maybe. But anyways, last week we mentioned that listener Raylan Zapula's dog Sophie died of cancer, and now she's raising money for canine cancer research. She's raised $800 so far of her $5,000 goal. I donated some. You did, right?
I did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's easy to do. You can go to wearethecure.org/friends/Sophie's Fight, and I'll put that link in our show notes too.
Oh my God! Did you see the picture of Sophie, her dog?
Cutie.
Oh my goodness! Oh, cute! Yeah, you've got to. You know what? My own personal plug here. Insert personal plug here. We'll continue to do these podcasts because we love you guys. And can you do me a solid and donate to this